There we go. Okay. Oh, it's so lovely to see all of your faces. This is so exciting. Let me just admit a few more people in and get cracking. Hi, Liz. Hi, Luz. Hi, Lucy. Hi, Samantha, Amy, Cecile. Hello, lovely.
Hello,
Debbie, Deborah, Jessica, Lucy again. Hello, and Sammy. Oh, okay. I'm absolutely buzzing that you're all here. Right. I'm going to share my screen because we've got a lot to get through in an hour. And happy new moon, guys. Right. Here we go. Let me just pop all your faces up at the top so I can see you. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome. So my name is Jenna, if you don't know already. I'm a Scorpio moon coach. Oh, you just did one more. I'm a moon magic coach for mums. And yeah, just welcome. It's so lovely to see all of your faces. Just admit again. And welcome to everyone, and hello to everyone who's going to be watching this back on the replay. Just to say, yeah, mega grateful that you're all here and for spending this time with me. And just if everyone could just pop themselves on mute, if that's all right, as they kind of enter, that would be awesome. And the chat is there, so put your questions in the chat, but I'm going to be encouraging you guys to be sharing things on the chat, so please make sure you use that. A super quick run through of tonight's session. So we're going to jump in straight away and just chat about new moon in Aries, and like just try and really get in the vibe of tonight, because it's a big new moon for us all to be kind of getting together and getting in this like Aries energy. Then we're going to look at our birth charts. So hopefully you all have your birth chart, either a picture of it up on your phone or a printout. And I hope my video was kind of easy to follow. And then we're going to look at how you're in what house this Aries new moon is affecting in your birth chart, so you can start to get to grips basically with your own birth chart. And then we're going to set some new moon intentions, which is really exciting because we'll all be, oh god, I'm hot already. I'm going to be setting some new moon intentions, which I think is going to be really powerful because there's so many of us, which is wonderful. Then I'm going to chat to you super quickly about some offers and some packages I want to talk to you about, and then we're going to finish it off with a new moon meditation, which hopefully you will love. So I can never play music through my speakers, it sounds awful. So towards the end, if you want to, while we do the meditation, if you want to queue up some lovely music and for you to have in the background, just for you to be aware of. I'm recording, that's perfect. And then I think most of you have got this already, but just grab a pen and paper because we'll be doing a little bit of writing. Yes, that's it. That's all the housekeeping done. Right. So tonight it is a new moon, right? So just very, very quickly, lunar cycle. We are at the start of a lunar cycle tonight, right? So new moon energy lasts around 2 to 3 days. So for people watching this back on the replay and you don't get to watch it until tomorrow or even Thursday, that doesn't matter. Like, we're still in that new moon energy. This is still, you haven't missed this like finite like window of opportunity to kind of manifest and dream and set goals and intentions for yourself. Okay, and then we'll be moving into this waxing phase later on in the week, but tonight it is all about dreaming and setting intentions for yourself. And I really don't want us to get caught up in how we're going to do these dreams, how we're going to, these intentions that we set for ourselves, how we're going to do it. I just want us to be in the vibe of just dreaming and kind of really visualizing that. So this new moon tonight falls under the sign of Aries. Okay, so really want to like break it down. So Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, right? So there's 12 signs altogether and Aries is the first. So really tonight it's like an astrological new year. It's the first one, okay, which makes it so if you didn't feel like you really wanted to set any kind of New Year's resolutions back in January, you know, because it's winter and it's cold and you don't want to be thinking about it. Like, this is a perfect time to be thinking about setting these kind of goals for ourselves. And it is always, you know, we've literally just had the spring equinox. Spring, it's all about new beginnings. This couldn't be more of like an energetically powerful time to be thinking about this stuff. Aries is a fire sign. Okay, so all the zodiac signs fall under a different element, so fire, water, air and earth. Aries is fire. Fire is all about identity, passion, intensity and drive. Okay, so this is all like the kind of elemental mix of Aries. Okay, it also has this energy. Aries has a real like kickstarter energy. Okay, it's the one of the signs that's really like, come on, let's just do this. It kind of puts a fire under everything to get things going. And the actual symbol for Aries is this ram, basically, so with the horns. It's like, and it's all about being headstrong. Okay, Aries is ruled by the planet Mars, and Mars, which you might have found on your birth charts already, but Mars is our planet, which is it's our capacity to act and to assert ourselves, and it's the planet of passion. And that is really what I want us to kind of get into the vibe of tonight. Okay, because Aries is all about thinking. It's I am, it's the first sign. Okay, so it's, you know, if you the opposite sign to Aries is Libra, and Libra is more about balance and kind of being in a partnership with people and just kind of like coexisting with others. Aries is all about I am, it's about self. So when I think about Aries, it's all about stepping up to the plate as like an independent like warrior, almost like kind of almost like childlike. If you think about how, you know, young children are just like completely fearless in what they want. They say what they want, they do what they want, they jump off, leap off things without like kind of thinking about it too much, because they're fearless. And that is the like Aries energy. Okay, so Aries knows what they want, they've got the motivation and passion and drive to kind of go after it. Okay, so if you are an Aries sun, moon or rising, if you discovered that in your chart, like some of that might be like, that might be resonating with you, or you might have some other planets in Aries that you might have noticed. But if you're also thinking, oh God, that feels a bit uncomfortable, like that's not really like me, I also just kind of want to say, like, it can feel really hard, I think, sometimes to like almost harness some of that Aries energy sometimes, I think, as mums, because we're, you know, we do have so many demands on us and so many things to, you know, to attend to, and sometimes it feels like we hardly have any time to pursue our passions. So me saying like being like an independent warrior can feel like sometimes near on impossible when we've literally got humans hanging off us, or, you know, we're surviving on hardly any sleep. Like it's kind of, it can be hard to think to get into that Aries vibe. So but I really, really want us to try tonight to really think about what it is that we want. Like Aries is saying like, this is my life. Okay, I have a right to seek whatever experiences I need to have. So Aries is asking us to put ourselves first. Aries is asking us to become more self-aware about what we want, what we need. And it's asking us to be like selfish in quotation marks, but in a good way. Mums, like, we need to be selfish. Okay. And we have to face our fears like head on, even if that fear is change, or like finally speaking up and asking for what it is that we need and that we want. So even like actually just you showing up tonight and kind of taking that space for you and thinking about like, actually, no, this is what, you know, I want to take that space for myself. Like, well done for like carving out this time for you, because you are already winning by imbibing that like Aries energy, because you're taking the time to think about this stuff. So as we go along, and we're going to go back, we're going to go on now to like birth charts, but just be thinking, what are you like passionate about? Where could you be more fearless? What needs to be said? Like, how can you be more direct in asking for what it is that you want? Like, where can you speak up more? And can we just like look those like fears and things in the eye and face it head on, and kind of just like the Aries ram, basically. So it is a really, really big new moon for us all to be getting together, which is while I'm kind of a bit giddy with it, like excitement, like it's a big one. So that's like the Aries vibe. So we've kind of got that as like the background. So now we're going to start looking at our birth charts. Okay, so this is my birth chart. So your birth chart will not look like this at all. Like, the planets will be in different places, and it won't look the same. And that is the point, okay? Because I want you to think of your birth chart, right, as a blueprint, really, of you. Oh, hang on, someone's just coming in. I want you to think of it as a blueprint of you, okay, as a blueprint to your soul, your unique soul, okay? This is your soul's journey. This birth chart is your soul's journey, okay? No one else has ever had a birth chart that looks like yours, and no one will ever again, okay? It's completely unique to you. And this is a tool that you can keep coming back to. Like, I look at my chart all the time, okay, and I get to know it. I get to know where like my planets are, and what sign they fall under, and all of this kind of stuff. And I use it all the time. And that's kind of the reason behind this class tonight, is that I really want you to start to get to grips with your own chart, and kind of start to gain things from it, and discover more things about yourself. So very, very briefly, so all of you here will, so obviously you put your name and your birthday and your time of birth, so that will be all correct up here in the left hand corner, and it will tell you what your sun sign here is, and your ascendant, which is your rising sign. And then this is basically just a lovely key here of all of the planets. So these are all the symbols that correlate here on the chart, and then just down here is like the zodiac sign that they fall in. So very round, like the outside of the circle, really, this is the zodiac signs here, okay? So Aries is here, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces, okay? Well, I want to give myself a pat on the back, because there was a time when I literally didn't know what any of those were. I was like, oh, I can't work it out. They just look like squiggles. So these are the 12 zodiac signs. Then we have inside that, we have the other symbols here, and this is all of the planets. So the one that looks like a donut here is your sun sign, then your moon sign here, and then your rising sign is basically what sits on this. So it says AC here, that is the ascendant line, that is your rising sign. So whatever zodiac sign that AC sits in is essentially your rising sign, okay? So we're not going to be getting into all of the nuts and bolts of that, because it really is like, there is so much to astrology and to your birth chart and to unpick. But I thought that if we kind of focus on the houses tonight, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, that would be the simple way into kind of starting to get to grips with your own birth chart. So when I talk about houses, if you see that this circle is split into like sections of a pie, really, I guess, and then in the very like inner circle, it's numbered 1 to 12. And so these are the 12 houses. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and round it goes. And basically, whatever planet it kind of what house it falls in, these houses symbolize like a theme of life, or like a department of life. It means a particular thing, right? So as an astrologer or someone reading your chart, and what you can start to get to grips with like over time is like what you first look at is what zodiac sign a planet falls in, and then what house, and then you interpret that. But that's like another layer to this. So tonight, all we are going to be looking at, if you've got any questions, like pop them in the chat if I'm just kind of, blathering and I'm not going a bit far ahead. But all we're going to be looking at tonight is, so it's an Aries new moon. We're going to just be looking at what this Aries new moon is highlighting in your chart, okay, tonight. So this Aries new moon falls at 0 degrees of Aries. So what the fudge does that mean? Each of these zodiac signs, right, round the side, like bear with me, each of them has 30 degrees in it. Okay, so at this little line here that I'm highlighting, think of that as 0 degrees. So we then go 0, 1, 2, 3, blah, 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 all the way up to 30 here. Okay, and then we start again on this line, 0 degrees, and then 1, 2, 3, blah, 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 up to 30, and then 0 to 30, 0 to 30, 0 to 30, all the way round. Okay, so each zodiac sign is 0 to 30 degrees. And so when I say it's 0 degrees of Aries, what I mean is like the moon here is falling at 0 degrees of Aries there, if that makes sense. I hope you're with me. So and the degree is important. So if you want to look at your chart on another new moon or full moon, get that degree point. That's the bit that you need, okay? So we are looking at 0 degrees of Aries, and all I want you to do right now, looking at your chart, is find 0 degrees of Aries, okay? And then give me a little thumbs up when you found it. So it should just be, because it's 0 degrees, it should just be right on that line, really, okay? So just find that little spot there. Oh, chat. Okay, thumbs up, loose and loose. The 2 Lucy's have got it. I can't find Aries. Okay, Charlotte. So Aries is here. We're just looking at Aries. So it looks like a little red V. It's like highlighted. I'm highlighting it here on the chart. Yeah, got it. Awesome. Okay, so then find 0 degrees, which is literally this line here. So you count yeah, it is. It's I don't want to go into like all the nuts and bolts, but it is this bit does go around anti-clockwise, and then this bit goes round. No, that doesn't go round. No, anti-clockwise. They both do. Sorry, yeah, doesn't make it simple. So right, we found 0 degrees of Aries, right? And now I want you to identify what house that is falling in. So mine, 0 degrees of Aries for me is falling in my 10th house. Okay, so I want you to identify that and then share it in the chat. And then obviously shout if you've got any questions. Okay, Luce is 5th house. Lucy is 10 here. Oh, I love that. Sammy is 3rd. Lucy is 3rd. Cecile is 8th. Deborah is 1st. Amy is 8th. Deborah. Oh, there's lots of 8s. 8s. Charlotte is 4th. Jessica is 8th. Oh, there's so many 8s. Okay, love that. Right. Oh, one more. And Samantha is 4th. Okay. So can you see immediately like how even though like this how that is all affecting different houses for us? Okay, so what the hell does that mean, are you asking me? So what now we're going to talk about is what the houses mean, okay? And then we're going to put that together with Aries, and then I want you to kind of interpret like what you think that means for you on this new moon, okay? So keep your house, we're going to drop the 0 degrees of Aries now. We don't need that anymore. We're just going to focus on what our house number is. So keep that in mind. Okay, so mine was 10. So this is like this is again the houses here. So similar like pattern here. This is the meaning of all the different houses. So I'm just going to like briefly go through them, but like kind of what my kind of interpretation of it is, and then we're going to add the layer of Aries on that. I hope you're like with me. Again, use the chat if something doesn't make sense. So your first house is each of the houses as well, as we kind of went through. Actually, I won't say that. I think that will be confusing. Okay. The first house is all about self. Okay. So if you have planets, just so we're not going to look at planets tonight, but just as a side note, if you have planets in your first house, these are particularly significant for you. So note that, because that first house is all about self, who you are, self-expression. It's real like beginnings. It's kind of how other people see you as well. So it's a real like who you are kind of house. Okay. The second house is more about money, material things, spending habits, like your enjoyment of material things, but it can also be around a theme around like your self-worth and your self-value. Okay. The third house is all about communication, connection through like it could be through writing, through speaking, like public speaking, that kind of thing, just through conversations. It also can symbolize like the media, that kind of thing, because it is very much like networking, that kind of thing. And it could also mean siblings as well. The fourth house is all about home, family, sometimes symbolizes the mother. It's our kind of like, it's our more of like our inner world. It's where we create a secure environment and like our emotional security. So pulling into that like mother like element. The fifth house is basically all about creative extensions of self. So think like children. Is obviously an obvious one, but it's literally anything creative that we could make. So like and it's being like in a more childlike kind of state. It's a creative house. It's like where we get our joy and our play. It also, there's like love affairs are in the fifth house as well. Sixth house, I don't think anyone was in the sixth house, is all about routines, like day-to-day practices, self-improvement, like service kind of work. The seventh house is all about relationships, partnerships, marriage, business relationships, and like basically like significant others. The eighth house, which lots of people had, is actually a house that's related to Scorpio actually, and it's all about like death and rebirth, basically, like transformations. It's like looking at your inner shadow and kind of being in the void a bit when you need to, but knowing that being in the void will lead to new beginnings. It's that kind of like cycle. Eighth house is also about shared resources. So when houses are kind of opposite each other, it means it's like the opposite. So if you remember, like the second house was about money, which is more about like your own money, like your own like self-worth. The eighth house is about like shared money, that kind of thing. Like the first house is about self, the seventh house is about relationships and like being with other people. So it's kind of like opposites kind of thing. The ninth house is about learning. It's about long distance travel. It's one that's ruled with Sagittarius. It's about expansion. So expansion of mind and expansion of like horizons. The 10th house is career, work. It's like your public image. It could be related to father figures, but it's like your reputation. It's like career. So if you remember, like the 0 degrees of like Aries moon was falling under my 10th house. So I was like, oh, okay, I think it made sense for me to do something like this because it was falling under that umbrella, basically. The 11th house is about community, groups, friends, and having a bit more of like a social awareness of the collective. And then finally, the 12th house is all about kind of more, it's like it, because it's the last house, it's more about endings and closure, but it's coming up to like having a more like spiritual like outlook on things, and like your higher ideal, your higher like, yeah, higher consciousness, I guess, and like a bit of like a self-undoing almost, because it's like the endings of things, if that makes any sense. So is there any questions at all? Did that, or were you able to, you know what your house is and you kind of got a feel for like what the meaning is, right? Like shout if not, otherwise I will just carry on. So we know what the house is, we know now what the house means. Now I want to put like another, I want us to kind of put another layer on that. Hang on, let me just check the chat. Is it significant that some are bigger? So no, so this is just a really random thing. And to be honest with you, I actually have no idea why some of them are bigger than others, but it's not, it's just like how the kind of the chart is done basically, is that some are more, some are smaller, some are bigger, but that is why the time of birth is really, really important, because those houses can be quite, they're not kind of exact. Right, Lucy's bit, can't quite work out my house. Is that because it's like falling in between two signs, or that you can't give me a little bit more info? Cecile's put, and is that house linked to this moon period of time, or is it in general? So this house that we're talking about tonight is literally linked to the moon, like tonight or the next couple of days. Yeah. So right now, so we've got that house, and now what I really want us to do is just to really feel into what feels right to you in terms of you trying to piece this together with that Aries kind of lens, right? So I'll give you kind of my take on Aries in these houses, but I really want you to kind of start to think what you think it means. So it's putting together what I kind of spoke about with Aries, what that house symbolizes for you, and then you to kind of start to think what you think it means, because this is your birth chart, right? So hang on, just go back to the chat. It's either 2 or 3. I'm not sure where to read from, as my Aries is at the bottom of the chart and it's at the top. My Aries is at the bottom. I wasn't sure it was 3. I thought it was anti-clockwise. So, but bottom, I wasn't sure. But yeah, it's anti-clockwise. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Right. So sorry. Let me just go back. Right, so just for instance, just to help these people, Charlotte and that Lucy out. So if say Aries was here, go from this line here. So this will be 0 degrees, go from this one. Okay. Right. Okay, so thinking about these houses then, and then in like through like an Aries lens. So first house is all about self. So could this be for an Aries, like Aries kind of vibe, working on self in more of like a selfish way? So, but in a positive term. So like, where can you start to put your needs first? Where can you start to take leadership of who you are? And where can you be more fearlessly you, potentially? So second house, it's perhaps maybe you need to be more independent, like with your money, or take more ownership of it, or you want to make more of it, and just like, how are you going to take direct action to do that? So like, so we're thinking like Aries is fearless, Aries is like a warrior, it wants to be independent, Aries wants to be self-aware. So be thinking about these things as you think about your house. Or perhaps it might even, sometimes with Aries, it can be a little bit, you know, because they're being so direct with stuff, they can maybe be a little bit too rash with money. Maybe that might also be an interpretation for the second house. Third, for me, it's about being more direct in how you talk, in how you communicate, like asking you to speak up or be more decisive about stuff. Like Aries is kind of fearless in what needs to be said. So like, where can you be more fearless in that respect? The fourth house could be, I mean, this is where it kind of comes into what it's important to think about, what you think about, how you like, what kind of feels right and sits right with you. So in the fourth house, do you need to be more independent from home life, or do you need to say what you need at home more? There could be like potentially like difficulties with, like, you know, I said the fourth house was about mother figures, like maybe where do you need to be more direct or stand more in your power in your fourth house? So Charlotte, the planets we're not talking about the planets tonight only because it just adds so much more. Like, I'd be here for hours on end, but so if I have no planets in Aries and multiple houses, what does that mean? So it just means that we need to kind of do more investigation in terms of looking at that zodiac sign and then that house and interpreting that. But because it's literally just us looking at the house that this moon tonight is illuminating, if we kind of went into planets, we'd honestly be here for like, this would be a 6-hour workshop. But definitely, like, I'm going to talk about like those things later on. Fifth house for Aries is like, how could you be more childlike or be more joyful, potentially in like your creative, your self-expressions, like, but also where could you be more courageous? Like, if you think about that childlike kind of bravery and courageousness, where could you be more brave in how you express yourself and potentially be more spontaneous with how you create? Or could you take more risks creatively, that kind of thing? Sixth house is where, you know, we said it was all about day-to-day routines. So how can you stand on your own 2 feet more, gain more independence in your day-to-day life, take more ownership of it? Or perhaps you're taking too much on and then you need to be more decisive in what needs to be stripped back, potentially. In the seventh house, so relationships, are you putting yourself, you know, are you saying what you need in relationships? Are you putting yourself first, or are you compromising too much? Are you being too codependent with, you know, on other people or business partners or your partner? Do you need to be more fearless and like jump into dating or like finding new love or like putting yourself out there, that kind of thing? In terms of like eighth house, I think it's like there's a need to head off on your own, maybe in terms of like shared resources. Maybe, I don't know, maybe there's a shared resources things, but actually you need to like head off and like do your own thing. Perhaps it's maybe being fearless in how you confront like shadow work, like doing like the inner child work that some of us don't want to kind of like look at because we don't know what it's going to uncover. Like, it's starting to look and get really deep and more self-aware. In the ninth house, maybe like just taking an unexpected, like, in quotation marks, like selfish trip, like doing like a travel or booking a trip or something that is for you, like a trip that is for you. Or because ninth house is also learning, it could be just deciding to be really brave and finally book onto that course that you've always wanted to do. 10th house, it's like, where can I stand out in my career? Where can I take a leap of faith and go in a new direction? Like, this Aries new moon, when I looked at it, was in my 10th house. So I was just like, I feel like this is a good time to just do something like this, kind of a birth chart class where I've literally never done anything like this before. Like, I look at my chart all the time, but actually like talking and like kind of talking it through like with a group of people feels quite stretchy for me, to be honest, and it's a bit like, ooh, but I was like, it's in my 10th house, so I'm just going to do it. It's like taking that leap of faith. And this has been like, by far, this has been my most successful masterclass I've ever had. I've had like 27 people sign up for it, and that's never happened before. So like it does, I think there is like magic and energy around you kind of using this chart and like kind of leaping on these kind of, how can I call it, like these just kind of, there'll be like these little pockets of time where it's kind of like energetically potentially is a good time to do things, and for you kind of like to harness that energy, if you know what I mean. Not to say that it's co-creation. It's like I knew that was going to fall in my chart, but I didn't have to do anything about it if I didn't want. That doesn't mean that I wouldn't kind of still get to where I was going. But I think sometimes when you kind of you use your chart in this kind of way, I think there is like a magic, like energetical kind of a little kind of cheat code or something when you start to use your birth chart in this way. In the 11th house, it could be in terms of like looking at how Aries is. Where can you speak up more, maybe in like friendship groups, or are you ready to lead a community? And in the 12th house, it could be, so that's your house of like self-undoing. There's might be an aspect to yourself that's quite hidden. So are you going to be brave to like confront it and like face it head on type thing? So Lucy's put, I'm going for a real change of how I work at the moment and my long-term goals. So I'm pleasantly surprised by this. Oh, I love that. That's great. Just shows that you're on kind of on path with things. It's like, it's also like such a lovely reassuring thing when you're like going on, you're kind of on these paths, and then you're like, oh, but great, because that is aligning with this kind of this birth chart, like this your soul's journey. So I'm hoping some of that made sense. Does anyone want to share what they think? It doesn't have to be long, but what they think that their interpretation might be of what this Aries new moon tonight means for them, if anyone's kind of willing to do that, either in the chat or because there was a lot of 8th house, wasn't there? If we go back. I'll just give it a minute and see people typing. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so Deborah's put, yes, I'm first house and self-consciousness, etc. is always the thing that holds me back from taking that leap. Okay, so we need to set some big like new moon intentions next then about this. So okay, so Lucy's saying, Luce, you were 5th, weren't you? I think for me, I'm holding so much back creatively, and I feel like I'm bored of what I'm currently doing, but not sure what's next. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, so 5th house, it's like, how can we lean more into that kind of childlike, fearless kind of energy of just being like a bit more spontaneous and like trying to find more joy in the thing, I think is what the 5th house is for me personally. But then bringing it into that, like the Aries, it's just being fearless, I think, in how you do that. And Ames, but I'm a bit confused about the focus of the 8th house, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie, guys, the 8th house is a bit of a tricky one for me as well, and I think it is one of the ones that is a bit more it's not as clear as some of the others, because it is the house that's more linked with Scorpio, and Scorpio has this kind of like more mysterious kind of element to it. But it is about, for me personally, the 8th house is more about starting to look at more like inner work and like that inner shadow and things that we potentially are a bit hidden and we don't want to kind of confront. But knowing that when we kind of start to look at that shadow, and be in that like void, like it really does open up space for new beginnings and new things to come in. So it is about death and rebirth is about letting things die away and realizing that they've kind of they need to come to an end, and being kind of happy to be in that void, because you know that things have to die away for new beginnings, for things to be reborn. I don't know if that answered your question, but because I'm still kind of I'm still kind of getting to grips with the 8th house myself, because I've got some planets in there. Charlotte's sitting 4th house, which is focused on family, roots, mother, children, etc. At the moment, I'm so career focused and feeling bad about not being so present for family. So maybe that's okay during Aries. Yeah, I would say so. I would say it's about just kind of leaning in then maybe to being more selfish, putting yourself first, in that kind of home family environment, starting to prioritize yourself as the mother in your home, because you're you're working towards this amazing like career path. You are 100% on your like soul purpose, your soul's journey, and you're moving towards what lights you up. And I think that's totally in the like the Aries vibe. Debbie's put, how do you know what the house means for each moon, e.g. for the Aries moon? So that again is something that we would need to look at further, like in a birth chart reading or something. But like your Aries, your moon sign is a really important sign, because it's like your inner world essentially. So your sun sign is your personality, your rising sign is like the kind of like the mask we wear. It's how other people view us. As they get to know us more, they see our sun sign, like our ego, our personality. It's how we really shine. And our moon sign is it's like our internal feelings. It's how we want to be nurtured. It's most likely how we mother. So for an Aries moon, like there will be a need to be, if you think of like Aries as like being independent, there will be, for an Aries moon, there is a need to feel like they're number one, like that kind of thing. Like there's a real need of importance there. So Sammy's put, I've had a huge thing around communication in the last couple of weeks and afraid of speaking in case I'm not understood, don't make sense. So very interesting, this has come up for me. In the 3rd house, I've realized that it's massively holding me back. Oh my god, I relate to you so much with that, because I've got some planets in the 3rd house. Okay, so we need to be, I want to move on because I've just realized the time. God, I can just really go on about this. So what I want us to do next, so we kind of like, so yeah, you're all kind of getting to grips with what this kind of like means for you. Now what I really want us to do is, so based on where this new moon is falling on your chart, I want you to set a new moon intention for yourself. It could be 1, it could be 2. I want to say up front, there is absolutely no right or wrong way to set a new moon intention, because people ask me all the time, should it be this or should it be that? It's completely, you've got to feel into what feels right for you, and think of it as a goal. It's a dream, and we are absolutely not thinking about how we're going to do this. I just want you to think about the kind of dream itself. I want you to almost like imagine that this goal, this intention that you're setting for yourself has already happened. So you can even like write a sentence about how it feels, what you're doing, what are you wearing, who are you with, like kind of get into the vibe of like this has already happened. And you know, we're thinking Aries, so we want to be fearless, like where can we kind of speak up or be more direct, like be more independent, like and be these like fearless kind of warriors. So I want you to kind of infuse all of that into this new moon intention. And if that house that this moon has fallen under resonates with you in any way, you don't have to use the house if it's not resonating with you, but that might help. But I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to just sit there and set this new intention, just like as a group, like in this lovely energy of this group. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to give you another minute or so. It's so lovely watching you all just like bring away. Okay, if anyone has finished it, would anyone does anyone want to share their new moon intention? Okay, Charlotte, yes. To fully throw myself into being an emerging tech specialist. Yes, Charlotte, and teach people about how they can use technology to work more efficiently, effectively, and grow their businesses quicker. Woo! I fucking love that. That's amazing. That's so great. Yes, I love that. That is 100% in the Aries vibe. Okay. Both Lucy's a bit love this, amazing. I love that. Does anyone else want to share their new intention? Okay. Lucy's put, just bloody do it, launch my new business and lean into it without worrying about all the little niggling doubts. Even though I have a newborn and a toddler, I can do this and it was meant for me. I love that. I'm doing a heart as I'm reading it. Getting involved in the chat. Okay, Amy has put, get a part-time job in order to leave my current job so I can work on my business and help with my mum's care, giving my dad a break, take my dad to a cricket match. I love that. I love that so much. It's like, that's just, it's as well, it's just so direct, and like this is totally the vibe. Okay, Luce, I'm about to launch a podcast and I'm getting other experts and sharing other people's stories, but I have so much shit to say and I need to bloody say it. Yes, you do. You have so much to say, so much to say. Grace is putting, I bloody love these so much. Lucy has put, take more time off. I'm flipping knackered. I totally get that. We have also, obviously, you know, we've just gone through the dark moon. So dark moon is like the end of a lunar cycle, which is where, you know, we really do need to prioritize rest more. So Lisa, I don't know if you kind of are working that into like your kind of like business life, if you're prioritizing rest and things like that. Because I'd highly recommend that. Okay, Deborah, be more fearless when taking action and care less about outcome and how it reflects on me. Completely agree with that. I would listen to my discomfort, feel into my fears and take action anyway. I'll be kind and gentle with myself, but still take the action. Ted, love that. Love that. Well done. Debbie has put, finally take the leap and put myself out there and not worry about people judging me. Yes, I love that about taking the leap. That's amazing. And Lucy has put his, so yes, that's my plan, changing a lot of things and entering it around having more fun and putting myself first. I love that, Lucy. Yes, Deborah, says Luce. Grace has put, so mine, so to create and foster a calm, connected relationships at home, focusing on the family nervous system, to lean into my feminine, get out of my masculine and feel things, act my intuition, come out of my lack, especially with finances, trust the universe and support. That is so beautiful. I love that. And Deborah's putting, loose, I can't fucking wait to listen to your podcast. Me neither. Hurry up and get it out there. You've got too much to say, Luce. Okay. Stop divering. That is not Aries energy. Come on. Right. Okay. I love those from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for sharing. Just for complete clarity, so we've got 5 minutes left. I would love it if you would just stick around for 2 minutes and listen to me talk about some everyone just ganging up on loose now. Do it. If you would just stick around for 2 minutes to listen to ways that if you would like to work with me in the future, If you need to pop off, that is absolutely fine. But I'm just going to spend a couple of minutes talking about some offers, and then I really want us to finish doing a moon meditation. So while I'm talking about my offers, you could cue up some music if you would like to. Otherwise, you can just listen to my dulcet tones, but it's just be like a 5-minute meditation. So thank you so much for the shares. I love them. So if you have just you've got the birth chart reading bug and you want to go a bit deeper, there's a few offers I want to talk about. So the first one is like the birth chart coaching. So this is really just us building up on basically what we did tonight, really, and learn more and more about your birth chart. So the first thing we do with that package is we have a birth chart reading together, where it's very much just a conversation between you and me, really, and I tell you what my interpretation is, you tell me. It's a kind of a back and forth conversation, because I want you to get to grips with your own birth chart. And then we have 2 months where we have a call once a month, basically, and look at your birth chart in more detail. But alongside your life or your business, we look at what different moons, like those houses, what it's illuminating, what that means for you. But we also, like Charlotte had mentioned earlier, we look at the planets and how that's affecting things as well. And this actually is a really exciting time to do it, because it's eclipse season coming up. So April, May, we've got the Taurus eclipse and Scorpio eclipse. So Scorpio is what rules that 8th house, and eclipses bring really powerful energy. They basically kind of come to just like shake us up and put us back on our our soul purpose, basically our journey towards our North Node. Oh, Luce, I just love you. She's put that I read her birth chart. I just love you deeply. And yes, eclipses, they really kind of come to just really put us back onto our soul purpose kind of journey. And so we can really dig into that in that birth chart coaching, if you would like to. The other thing is so I've just finished yesterday teaching the last group session of Rebirth of You. So this is my group course, which I launched last year. And this is like a 6-week course where it's all about discovering you and working on you and holding a space for you once a week, where I teach you all the tools that I have used to basically be sat in front of you today. So we talk about moon magic, we talk about menstrual tracking, we do some inner child work with the wonderful Grace, who is on here now, who brings in this lovely like tapping element. We did talk about personality profiles, love languages, and then we're chucking some moon meditations and, you know, some card pulls. It's just like a really lovely like 6-week course. And then at the end, we have a birth chart reading as well. So it's how I'm kind of tying it all together. So that starts on the 20th of April. So again, just in time for the eclipses. And then the last thing is, if you're just really feeling like deep in your bones that you want more, this year is going to be about you feel like things need to change, but you want to feel supported, then this Scorpio moon coaching package is the one. So I bring all of my tools, expertise, my perspective on things, and we just kind of, it's like a 4-month one-to-one coaching package. So it's 2 calls a month. I'm just going to check the chat here. And yeah, plus you get Jenna in your pocket, taken from the wonderful Lisa Sykes, where you have a bit of Telegram voice coaching as well, on top of those calls. So as and when like things pop up, you can just message me on the Telegram and we can talk it through. So you also get that. So it's kind of like having a coach 24/7 really, with the Jenna in your pocket thing. And then the last thing I want to say is, like, I feel like it's really important to say that I have a coach, and that investing in myself is honestly one of the best things I have ever done for myself. And I still really vividly remember the time, like I remember the feeling of spending that money on myself for my own like self-development, for my own business's self-development. But I want to acknowledge that sometimes I feel like investing in yourself feels really, really hard to do initially, because there's always, you know, something else to buy, or someone else needs shoes, or, you know, it's never the right time. But like, even if it's not me that you work with, I want you to know that when you gift yourself that like self-investment, it's just absolute magic. And I've done lots of like group coaching, which I've loved, and I've got so much out of it, but there is just like nothing like having like one-to-one personalized connection and support. So if you are looking for a coach, I would love to coach you, but equally, like, if there is someone out there that you've got your eye on and that you want to work with, like, don't wait, like, invest your money in yourself, like, and you won't regret it. So if any of that interests you, there's a link in my Instagram bio to book all events. You can DM me, but if you're still you know, you're not sure which one's the right fit for you, then book a discovery call and we can just have a little cuppa over Zoom and like just chat about it. Right, last thing I want to do is just finish with a moon meditation. Okay, so right, if you've got music, cue that up. I'll just give you a minute just to kind of sort that out, and then I will kind of finish the session with this lovely new moon meditation. Okay, so feel free to turn your camera off if you like, I won't be offended. Right, so just get comfortable. So I'm going to guide us through this new moon meditation, okay, just over for the next 5 minutes. Okay, I'd like you to get comfortable. Separate your hands and legs. Drop your shoulders. And slowly close your eyes. We're going to take 3 deep breaths. I want you to take your time and know that there is no right or wrong way, and that the way you are breathing is completely perfect. So in your own time, we're going to inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. And when you're ready, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Just taking your time. The way you are breathing is completely perfect. And then lastly, taking one more deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. I want you to picture the new moon in the pitch black night sky. Feel her energy beaming down on you, touching the top of your head, working its way down your face, down your neck, touching your shoulders, going slowly down your chest, beaming into your heart. Let it rest there a moment. Her energy heads lower over your stomach, down the tops of your legs, over your knees, working its way to your ankles, and finally resting at your feet. Your feet begin to feel completely grounded to the floor below you. You feel secure and supported, like the roots of an ancient oak tree. On this Aries moon, feel her great, powerful energy beam down on you and fill you up. You feel connected with her. You are connected with her. You are a powerful being who can absorb the magical energy of this beautiful new moon. As you continue to breathe in and out, I want you to inhale in passion and exhale doubt. Inhale energy and exhale worry. Inhale confidence and exhale self-doubt. Inhale courage and exhale fear. You are a warrior. You are fearless. You are worthy of this time spent on you. You deserve more. I want you to feel the moon's energy in your space right now. Focus on her powerful and energetic energy flowing around and throughout you. Notice how it releases any self-doubt, negativity, or fear. She is reminding you to make space for beautiful new beginnings to occur. Now, I would like you to take 3 more deep breaths in. There's no right or wrong way. Your breathing is completely perfect. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling out through the mouth. One more, inhaling through the nose and in your own time, exhaling out through the mouth. And then when you're ready, slowly open your eyes. Hope you like that. I hope you can hear. I really hope you can hear my daughter. She's woken up, and I could, towards the end of that, I can just hear her go, "Mummy." So I really need to go, guys. Thank you so
Thank you so much. It was amazing. Thank you, Jenna.
You're so welcome.
Thank you, Jenna.
I love that. Thank you. Share on your socials if you enjoyed it. I'd love it so much. And yeah, you know where I am on Instagram. And honestly, I'm so grateful that you all were here tonight. I just love you so much. And yeah, I gotta go because I can hear her calling me. Okay. Night. See you later.